Welcome back into Midday, everyone. Lieutenant Roy Fisher is here from the Salvation Army of Meridian. It's been a while, but we're glad to know that you're going to be a regular here with us on News 11 Midday. Glad you're here with us, first of all.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. It's good to be back.
You guys are always busy. There's never an off time, really. But you're here talking about a few subjects, but volunteerism, number one really right now, right? So
that is the number one. Just like anybody, we're all suffering a shortage of volunteers. And so we're needing volunteers in our family store to help sort the clothes and bric-a-brac and everything that comes in and get it out on the shelves and on the racks. And then through different things, we need so many volunteers, and we're getting ready to start actually doing some revamping of our new building. Yeah. And hopefully within the next year that's going to be finished, and with so many more things coming on. And so through the course of the year, we're going to need volunteers for that as well. And so we need volunteers actually in our office to help answer the phones. And that allows our short staff to be able to do what they need to be doing instead of having to answer the phones all the time. And that way, when somebody answers the phones, then they send it to the appropriate person, and then that way they can take care of the business that way, and our volunteers can actually take other calls. And then we have our marketplace that has been a phenomenal success since we opened in May, and we need volunteers to help stock the shelves with food, and meet with our clients when they come in Monday through Wednesday to be able to go shopping for their food. And that has been the biggest success that we've done in a while, because it brings back their dignity.
So if folks want to volunteer, do they go through any kind of training at all? Do they need experience, or how does that work?
You don't need experience.
Just put them to work?
We'll just put you to work.
Okay.
There are some for long-term volunteers, and especially if you're going to be dealing with children and things, there are some processes that have to be gone through. Sure. But just for a day or two, just give us a call. We'll put you to work, and wherever you want. Our store is open Tuesday through Saturday, and from 10 to 5. We need volunteers from 9 to 5 to help there. And then our office is open Monday through Thursday, and we're closed on Fridays for this month so that we can assist with the store as well.
It's very critical to keep this going. It's charity, and they do such valuable work. We're going to ask Lieutenant Fisher to hang out with us for one more segment. We'll give out phone numbers and websites, how folks can help out. We'll also talk about how you can volunteer if there's disasters, things like this. So hang out with us, Lieutenant Fisher. We'll have more information on that. But welcome back in, everyone, to the Friday edition of News 11 Midday. Lieutenant Roy Fisher from the Salvation Army in Meridian. And you guys don't just cover Meridian, Lauderdale County, right? You know.
Correct. We cover Lauderdale, Kemper, Neshoba, and Newton counties.
A lot of real estate there,
definitely.
Right there. You're talking really volunteerism, and that's what it takes to run a charity organization. There's the phone number right there if folks would like to get involved. You're talking about your store out by the old mall, right?
It's next to Dirt Cheap.
Next to Dirt Cheap. And for disaster services, which I think that's interesting, which can happen anytime, like, of course, the recent tornadoes up in the Delta area. You need folks to be ready to roll at any time, right?
We do. We've actually been doing disaster services since the Galveston hurricane of 1900.
Wow.
And so a lot of people don't realize how long this Salvation Army Emergency Services program has been around. And when that started, it just flew from there. And so for 123 years now, we've been doing emergency disaster services.
Wow. And you know, in this area, I mean, just in the calendar year, we're going to deal with hurricanes, we're going to deal with floods, we're going to deal with tornadoes.
Exactly.
I mean, we're going to deal with major power outages, so we're going to do it. So when you go into an area, what kind of services does Salvation Army provide?
We provide just a feeding, really, and then emotional and spiritual care, which is a new program that the Salvation Army started several years ago. Because when you're dealing with disasters, a lot of people don't realize how much somebody just needs to talk.
Yeah.
And they're just trying to rifle through the things that they've lost because of flooding, because of a tornado, because of a hurricane, because sometimes the hurricanes will come through. You never know what's going to happen. And so one of my favorite things is the emotional and spiritual care, but then we also have our feeding to go out and make sure that our first responders, making sure that those who have had damage due to the storms can actually have something to eat, bottled water, a snack, a meal, just different things. And so we need volunteers that can help us do that. And with the volunteers able to do that, because we are so staffed, it allows us to be able to do things, especially locally. But then we also need volunteers that are trying to go out past Meridian.
Yeah.
And I've served in Florida, I've served in the Carolinas, so there's so many different areas, and some people serve overseas as well, which is a longer term, but just in a national, it's a two-week deployment. And locally, it can just be one day, it could be 5 days, it just depends on the need.
Well, it's called the Salvation Army for a reason, and it's great work you do. Take the number to jot the number down, 601-483-5156.
6156.
6156, my eyes, older eyes. Lieutenant Roy Fisher, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Appreciate you and the work that you do. If you can volunteer, please do with the Salvation Army.